Hi. Welcome to All Things Royal. We are still on Wendy Berry's book, A Housekeeper's Diary, Charles and Diana Before the Breakup. As mentioned in previous videos, Wendy Berry was the housekeeper of Charles and Diana in Highgrove for 7 years. This book has been banned in the UK by the then Prince Charles. Anyway, for this chapter, Wendy Berry talks about several things, but mainly about how she came upon definitive evidence of an affair between Diana and James Hewitt. She also talks about how comedian and writer Spike Milligan were hosted by Charles and Diana in Highgrove. As expected, Spike was a hoot. They all enjoyed his company. He also enjoyed his stay. He stayed in the Blue Room at Highgrove, and he would later send a plaque to be put in that room which said, "Spike Milligan slept here." The staff were also happy about how Charles and Diana were able to present a united front when visiting guests were in Highgrove. Wendy also talks about a time when Wales was flooded and Charles and Diana went there to provide support to the locals who were affected by the disaster. Wendy said that during this time, as is often the case with Charles and Diana, they were not in good terms with one another. The staff were happy, however, that the couple were able to set aside whatever differences they had to carry out their royal duties. While Charles was away, James Hewitt and another couple would visit Highgrove for a weekend. James was placed in the Blue Room and the other couple in the Green Room. In the morning, when Wendy went to straighten up and clean the Blue Room, Wendy said she found strands of hair in the pillowcase and evidence of some sort of activity on the bottom sheet. So, you can deduce her meaning from those words. Wendy suspected that Diana and James were having an affair, but her discovery became definitive proof that they were having an affair. She mentioned that there were also other visits from James to Highgrove in the next few months, but no other visit would yield similar proof. Wendy also talks about the time when Charles broke his arm playing polo and he would spend time in Highgrove recuperating from his injury. He had a lot of guests visiting him, trying to cheer him up, but he was just morose because he was in a lot of pain. Camilla also visited him, presumably when Diana was not around. Diana was not too sympathetic to Charles about his injury, even mentioning that he had to give up playing polo. But she was very much concerned about Charles and his injury, but it was also a lot of "I told you so" from her. Camilla visited Charles quite frequently at this time when Diana was not there, and Wendy said this cheered up Charles a lot. The Queen also visited Charles in Highgrove and was very sympathetic. Prince Philip visited Charles as well, although he was not as sympathetic towards his son and his injury. Wendy also talks about how Diana became very concerned about James Hewitt as he was posted abroad during the Gulf War. Diana followed the news a lot during this time and was eager to listen to updates about the movements of the military and how the fighting was faring. Wendy also tells about William and how nervous he was about starting boarding school in a few days' time. Diana also found out that Charles spent time with Camilla in Balmoral. And this made Diana mad, so mad that she walked out on Charles and William on what was William's last meal with his parents before going to boarding school. In the next chapter, Wendy talks about how the crumbling marriage of Charles and Diana would affect the children, especially William. Don't forget to leave your comments below. Comments about James and Diana's affair would be appreciated. Don't forget to like my videos and subscribe to my channel. For now, I wish you all a fine day. Bye.